T to the V to the L to the I to the N to the E, TVLine.
Welcome, Bates Motel. I love this show so much, and one of the things I love about it is watching Vera and Freddie, the two of you, do your thing, and the acting choices you make. It's so fun, and I'm curious how your relationship has evolved over 2 seasons.
Freddie Highmore and Vera Farmiga relationship has evolved?
We're good friends. We've always been. We're the best of friends.
Certainly that was the case first season.
Yeah.
And then you became a little ornery. And you started challenging me second season.
That's true.
You know, he did.
In a good way.
Yeah.
I remember when you guys were filming the scene in the parking lot outside the community theater, and there was definitely some different opinions about what was happening in that scene, and it was really interesting to watch. It was fun, and it actually it just layers into the characters so well, because basically what was happening is he was trying to take control in the scene, and she was taking control in the scene, and it was great.
I guess that's how it always works. I mean, you can never be sort of jolly with everyone all the time if a second later you're going to be fighting.
Doing a really intense scene, yeah.
Kind of on set, there's always those times where we have a certain distance or kind of mock.
Look, I think when you're playing these intimate roles, and there's such a level of intimacy between these two characters, you're either going to love each other or despise each other. There's not going to be any lukewarm attitude that you have, and I really adore this kid. As far as how have the characters evolved?
He started to push your buttons more.
Especially towards the end, Norman certainly became more manipulative and more kind of aware.
Well, he's growing up.
Yeah.
Well, it was the first time you really challenged your mother's opinion of the world, because you'd relied on her opinion as gospel. And it's sort of the first time I think you said, hold on a second, my brother's telling me one thing, other people are telling me another thing, and who's to say your reality is a real reality?
But there's also then the contradiction of, at the same time, knowing that these two are, like, they're the only survivors on this shipwreck, on this abandoned. They only have each other, and so that fierce need to protect each other is what's at odds with simultaneously wanting to be close but pushing each other far away.
I was surprised to read, Freddie, that it was your idea to have that kiss in the finale.
We're not surprised.
Doesn't surprise me. In staunch defense of Norma, I really believe in her innocence. And I feel she's like desperate. It's a desperate situation, and it calls for desperate measure. And for her, she had to get through to him. And sometimes there's just no words, and you got to do it through action. And for me, it was just a stamp of approval of sealing this pact between them to continue to persevere through this nightmare, through the fear of the unknown and the truth of what he's just discovered. So there's pure innocence in my approach. It's how you interpret it.
One of my favorite things about season 2 was the growing closeness of Romero and Norma. And I'm curious, Nestor, what is stopping him from sort of going there?
I think he's sort of...
Lifetime of baggage.
Yeah, it remains to be seen. I really...
Wanting to stay alive, you get too close, it's not
well,
going to end
that's
up
the
well.
thing, too, is just sort of, I got kids in school, and I got to make sure I live through these couple seasons. But, I mean, it remains to be seen. I mean, how much
They're
are we...
both very guarded people, and people who are that tightly guarded do not give over their vulnerability that easily. So I think that it's definitely like there's something there. It's simmering.
Are we going to see that simmer further in season 3?
I think we might.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Olivia, how do you feel like Emma's feelings toward Norman changed since she started making bad choices with Gunnar?
I think that she's seen that she's not so blinkered, and that she's seen that there is life after Norman, and is the not. But yeah, I think she's definitely wanted. Norman was always the ultimate option the only one for Emma, and because he had rejected her so many times, I think she just felt like Gunnar was a really, really good second best. And Emma is all about time is of the essence, so if she wasn't going to get it on with Norman, then she's got to experience stuff with Gunnar instead, and he was a really, really good guy for her at that moment in time.
And Kerry, looking ahead to season 3, I'm all about the scoop. Can you throw me a bone?
We're gonna dig into a little bit of Romero's history, which is really interesting.
News to you.
Emma is gonna be facing some very unique challenges. These two knuckleheads. We're gonna delve further into the labyrinthian world that is the surface of Norma and Norman and the underbelly of Norma and Norman.
What does this mean?
I can't tell you. I mean, that is what it means, though.